You've heard about a bit about the technology. You've seen a bit, just like a glimpse of what we're doing. I think it only made sense that now we actually talk about what we're actually doing with the customers, so not what we want to do. We will have a mix between customers from the EMEA region as well as the US, because I think it is very interesting, the parallel that you can actually see between the same industry, but how it's actually developing into the two worlds. So if we have the slide, perfect. Good. So, and I think I know that since the beginning of DRUID, we've actually looked really closely into the healthcare industry. And this was something that we started off with Regina Maria in Romania, and we've gathered this information, we've gathered the experience, and then all the experience, you've heard Irina talking before about the virtual assistant that we have for all their managers to be able to streamline their operations. But we've wanted to do much more. So when we're talking about healthcare, we didn't just necessarily wanted to look internally in the how to make the operational tasks much easier, but how we actually can streamline and help the patients and the doctors. So tell us a bit how it happened at Magic Scare, because I know that is a very interesting story.
Yeah, so actually the use cases with which we started back in Romania like 5 years ago are applicable all over the world. So either if we're talking about a private healthcare clinic in Europe or a private healthcare clinic in US or in some other parts of the globe, we're talking about the same processes. Everyone wants to streamline the patient experience, and here we have, and already we're having implementations for appointment management solutions, everything regarding appointment confirmation, rescheduling, canceling of an appointment, even finding location information about addresses where I need to go for a specific type of specialty or service. We are seeing the same processes applied at a higher scale level. MatriScale is a particular use case because the virtual assistant there is helping the sales agents that they have, because they are selling software business solutions for streamlining the patient experience. So that specific use case is in regards with 3 virtual assistants directly embedded in their operational applications. And here we're talking about mainly with Salesforce. Also, Dan mentioned that one other data source for the knowledge base in terms of Salesforce can be media articles, knowledge information, cases from Salesforce. So right now the virtual assistant as a benefit is helping them to give information about products, offerings that they have, routing the conversation to the human agent. So everything regarding in the back office. Moreover, for the healthcare space, we have the patient-facing ones, when we are seeing the virtual assistant being available nowadays not only on chat integrated with my account or a single sign-on authentication. We're seeing as well the virtual assistant available on voice, and here is the highest stake as well, with a multi-language experience and omni-channel presence. And on the voice nowadays, we're seeing as well SMS channels, so the virtual assistant being embedded in the SMS and continuing further conversation with the patient, because they want to know where is my next appointment. They want to be notified in order to decrease the drop-off rates of the people not showing up to the appointment.
And I think Dan actually mentioned that we've seen, especially this year, a lot of traction into the voice space that we didn't necessarily see at the beginning. Everyone is very excited. Everyone was asking us constantly when we're going into sales meetings, are you doing voice? We were saying yes, and they're like, we don't want it. That's very good. Exactly. So.
Yeah, in the back, the conversation for either if it's the virtual assistant embedded on multiple channels, in the back is connecting with the same virtual assistant in the end. So that's why we create this omni-channel experience and also this personalized content conversation that is brought up to each one of the users in the end. But in EMEA, it's happening the same thing.
Exactly, because we saw this need of the patient to actually be much more mobile than just actually texting. So we have the case of Optegra, where we actually have created a voice bot for the patient interaction.
Exactly, and I think that the most important when we are talking about healthcare use cases is that we have to move the focus from the paperwork to the patient. And the important part is every clinic has an appointment solution. Good or bad, it has an appointment solution. But what is important to mention is the entire patient journey that we managed to automate using voice technology, using human avatars, using knowledge-based information, text-to-speech, speech-to-text. For instance, we have partners that have developed, and with built-in integration within our platform, solutions that are recording the visit report, and automatically it's transcribed into content that automatically gets into the medical application without the doctor having to focus in filling in data and being able to talk more to the patient. We also have partners that have developed patient triage flow. Imagine having a virtual avatar in the ER room where you have just to talk with the avatar, tell what it hurts you, and then it points you to the right specialty without having the nurses to focus on doing the triage manually and spending time.
And also here, I think it's really important to mention also that you can do it from the comfort of your home. So hopefully, if it's not something very difficult or very serious, you can actually have this triage conversational bot that can help you to know exactly in what specialty and what department you can actually call to book an appointment. And I think we saw this, as a result of this integration, that a lot of patients were actually going into the right specialization. And I think this is major because they're actually losing a lot of time and money because they're not ending up to the right.
Exactly, and moreover, due to the capacity of now DRUID integration with knowledge base, with Microsoft Azure OpenAI, we are able to record all the patient information in a HIPAA-compliant way in order to generate reports, which is very important for a hospital specialist or even for training students, like documenting the entire surgery and then asking questions and creating materials for the residents. Also, it's important to have reports based on treatments and so on. We have knowledge bases having all the leaflets for medical, all the medical leaflets that are addressed to doctors, and doctors can simply ask automatically when they recommend a medicine, they would see also other interactions they have with the patients for other medicines that they are taken.
But also to add something very important, because even on healthcare, but on the other side, the business effect is that we are seeing increasing number of appointments. Mm-hmm. So we run a test survey for Regina Maria, where we started in Europe, and they generated out of the virtual assistant being able to perform as a new channel, new appointments, around 1.5 million in a year by engaging two virtual assistants. One is the symptom checker and one is the appointment management one. So the business effect is happening in the business ROI, and you can track it and you have available to you, not only on the healthcare space.
Absolutely. I think this is exactly what we're seeing. It's not just making customers or patients happy, but actually having an impact in the revenue. And I want to leave the healthcare space. And another, let's say, department that we've seen a lot of traction and a lot of interest is the legal one, which we didn't necessarily see it as a very good fit for this type of, let's say, digitalization. But I know, Elena, you took care of a customer in this.
Yes, we're just finding new use cases every day. So legal one is in our focus. It's an internal virtual assistant, so that's why it's, let's say, streamline the process for employees. This particular story is that they are working with a lot of externalized legal persons, lawyers. So they need to provide the same experience to them as they will be an employee already there at this top major law firm in US. So the virtual assistant is integrated directly in SharePoint. This is something that I will showcase as well in terms of our use cases and demos, and is able to give information for the new onboarded employees regarding which are the procedures, the etiquette that they need to follow for specific contracts, how to generate a contract, and so on. And moreover, it doesn't have only that SharePoint experience in place, as well is integrated with SQL information, because not only one simple database is pretty enough for just building this end-to-end workflow. Also, the end story, it also may rely on some other data sources. So the virtual assistant is streamlining this process, and moreover is engaged in their operational application. So they are always entering in the dashboard in SharePoint, checking for some other data sources, and they have the virtual assistant on the right. By providing information not only from SharePoint, but some other applications in order to increase the accuracy and efficiency on how much fast they onboard new lawyers inside the company. And this is only one use case, and Andrea can mention.
Yes, so basically legal is not only dedicated to legal firms, it also treats the legal departments within a company. For instance, Ocean, even though it's a retailer company, we are started now a project with them on the legal department. They have several internal virtual assistants for different processes, supply chain management, HR, ticket management application, and now we are building a legal solution that is looking inside the contracts. It's sending notification when for a certain hypermarket the lease contract is expired. Also in, for instance, UiPath, one of the virtual assistants that they've built is RoboTorney, who is looking into the contracts, checking against different validation rules, and automatically notifying if the contract is compliant or not with the rules, similar for different banks. And now we are also working in EMEA with a law firm in order to build a knowledge solution out of all their contracts, all their NDAs, and with the help of the new feature that Dan and his team is developing, the knowledge graph, we are able to do queries on contracts as if we are doing queries within a database. What contracts are expiring within the next few months? What contracts have liabilities higher than 10%? Tell me or send me a notification for all the contracts that need renewal and have a lease contract in place, and so on and so forth. So there are limitless possibilities within the legal departments inside a company or for dedicated legal firms.
Plus in legal brackets also.
Exactly, legal firms.
So data compliant and everything. Elena, can you tell us a bit more? Because I know that this was something that we started as, let's say, a new stream of revenue, first in US, and then now we've exported it, the higher education industry, because we started it in US. And now I think we're seeing a lot of more interest also here in the EMEA space as well.
Yes, so actually expanding on a new market also increases the list of industries where you can see a virtual assistant that we never thought of at the very first beginning. And nowadays we have around 30 universities in our portfolio that are using the virtual assistant to streamline the student experience, the advisor's experience, the administrative tasks experience. And I want to mention that the one with which we started is Georgia Southern University. They started with a virtual assistant available on the SMS for streamlining the student experience for the student affairs part. And then they switched over to financial aid applications, housing information, integrated with their Banner 9 system, D2L learning management platform, and so on. In the end, the end result and that what they wanted to achieve is actually to decrease the drop-off rate of the students that were following and were continuing the programs of studies at their own university. And they were able to achieve that in order to provide these new tools for students to remain engaged with the faculty, list of courses, course scheduling, and so on. So the virtual assistant is increasing the student experience right there, and everyone knows about GAS. Inside the campus, inside the experience, we also were there. They know about GAS. This is the name of the virtual assistant and the mascot that they have. And this is another use case where we're seeing the virtual assistant available for different kind of operations.
I think this is really interesting because you actually see how quickly this type of technology can actually be part of the everyday life of the student. Because basically, Gus, this is what he's doing. I also want to tell you a bit more about Group Renault, because I think that was a very interesting story. We started with them as a request coming from them, and how to better handle the relationship with the dealers, the car dealers that they had, because unfortunately all the questions were coming from various channels, whether it was WhatsApp, Facebook Messenger, emails, phones, SMSs. So all over the, let's say, communication space. So they wanted to have one single point of contact between the dealers and Group Renault. And after we actually managed to do this, we actually started to discuss a bit on what we can do extra. And I think it is very, very interesting here that they've seen how well it worked, that they want now to expand it to their customers. And I think we see this usually happening. We see customers that are starting with one virtual assistant, they integrate it very well, and then they start to see the applicability in other departments as well. Can you tell us a bit more what we're doing into the energy space? Because I know this is a, let's say,
Yes,
sweet spot.
my sweet spot. But before going to the energy, I just want to add a bit on the financial services and the automotive part, because here we have several use cases from the production part, where we are working with automotive customers that are producing spare parts for building the automotive, or like Continental, for instance. But also we have created solution for financial leasing, where we are doing from car configuration to all the until signing the leasing contract, everything done 100% via the help of the virtual agent, to customer onboarding, doing simulation, booking a test drive, doing your car. Even we have a car configurator on voice, where you can change the car color and so on, so you can see everything in real time. We also have use cases that are doing support for the financial leasing customers, like updating personal data, and we have recently created a very fast forward demo for updating email addresses, IBAN codes, changing, I don't know, bank account numbers via voice in 8 languages: Portuguese, French, German, Dutch, Spanish, any language. Basically, we just add it in 5 minutes, and the bot starts talking to you in that specific language. Now, coming back to energy, because now electric cars and energy is a very important field. For energy, we have created for Corona Energy an application from scratch. So they are now they have received, they are a B2B company, they are receiving meter reads coming from different energy brokers, and these meter reads were coming via emails, or they had by phone, or they have to manually input this into the core application systems. What we've created is a conversational business applications where we track all the emails in different languages. We have attachments, pictures that are attached, and we are using Microsoft OpenAI image recognition tools to identify the content from the image, from the actual picture, and then map the meter reads, the index, against the MPN number of the meter and the serial number of the meter, and then we can have now, they have now automatic reading, mapping against the customers the brokers are serving. We can highlight every, let's say, uncompliant. So, for instance, your index is lower than previous month, which is not possible. It's an error with the reading in last month. We can do assumptions. We can do a lot of reports that were not able before because all the data was spread across emails.
Yep. I want to wrap this session with one last story. Tell us about FDA.
I will tell about the FDA story, Federal Drug Association. The virtual assistant is available on the website. They have for reporting different kind of problems. It's a mix between knowledge base of different kind of policies and procedures that they need to follow very strictly, and moreover is integrated directly with ServiceNow. So everything in regards with the ticket management solution is streamlining the process, is streamlined by the virtual assistant. Particular to this one and some other governmental that we have implementation, we're talking about full on-premises solutions, deployed virtual assistant and the DRUID platform on premises on their side. And as well, we're talking about a lot of security checkpoints that DRUID marks in the end. So even if we're talking about government, financial services, healthcare, we are in a secure governance space and we are acting that. the idea that in the end, I guess for each one of the markets, is important to see that we're seeing the growth expansions for the virtual assistants. And nowadays we have either a virtual assistant, a virtual employee DRUID, integrated for internal operations, or concierge for either customers or end users that are interacting with
Exactly.
it.
I think we've
one more
yes.
clarification. When Elena talks about on-premise, is actually in the customer's cloud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
basically, we ship the Kubernetes, and it can be deployed in your own Microsoft Azure subscription. And everything is highly controllable from the data security, data privacy, and compliant with the disaster recovery and the continuous deployment that Azure tools have in place.
Yeah, and I think just to wrap the session up, I think what is very important is that we've gave you some of the stories, and you've seen they're super different. Some of the customers have chosen to start from internal processes and then go external facing. Some of them were said, okay, where do we have the business? It is the customer. That is where you actually need to, who we need to make happy, and this is where the revenue is coming. So I don't think there's actually a recipe for success. I think the only ingredient that you need is us. Yes.
And the Center of Excellence.
Yes, as well.
Because the Center of Excellence is meant to capitalize all the use cases, all the solutions that we've talked so far, and we are building business application fragments or components, as Liviu calls them. It was Liviu's dream to have a library full of such business applications, and with the help of the solution builder, we can now make your dream happen, so business users can build their own bots. Thank you.
Thank you.